Hello YouTube and people of non-YouTube as well. I'm back with another list. This was originally going to be a list about something else more music related, but I couldn't think of enough material to write for that one, so I decided to do this one instead. For this list I'm sticking to Marvel because that's the universe I like most and the one I'm the most comfortable with. Now as for what defines a moment in my opinion, I'm talking about something memorable, something amazing or inspiring, sad, funny, any of the above really, with some overlap. Also, fair warning, there may be spoilers ahead, so if you aren't all caught up with any of the stuff I'm going to talk about, click off this video and go watch a kitten growl at a turtle or something. I don't know. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go on with it. Number 10, Slugfests. It's no secret that Hulk and Thing like to fight, and I mean they like to fight a lot. Anyone who knows anything about either character will know that they've crossed each other's paths more than twice. Yet regardless of who wins, which is almost always the Hulk, the fights between two of Marvel's strongest characters are nothing if not entertaining. I suppose what makes the fights that good is the fact that there's no clash of ideals between the two, just a clash of orange rock and green skin that winds up destroying most of New York whenever they meet up. Also, I honestly can just pick one fight between them as they're all amazing, so I guess this one goes to all their slugfests. Number 9, The Beast Inside. Even before he becomes the blue fuzzball that we all know of today, Hank McCoy had always had his powers. After all, he was born with abnormally large hands and feet, and when he came of age, he became not only the quarterback of his high school team, but became a brilliant mind, the latter of which would lead to him becoming a true beast. After experimenting with some chemicals here and there, he initially turned grey and furry, but later mutated to blue, and his more recent mutations have seen him grow more feline-like. Not to mention he has, his claws and fangs, and his face looks more like a lion's. But no matter how you look at Beast, he's still awesome anyway. Number 8, Master of Metal. As we all know, Magneto has always been the main bad guy to the X-Men. His clash of ideals with Charles Xavier has made for one of the best rivalries in comic book history, and the two of them often come to blows whether they're against each other or working with each other to take on a stronger threat like Apocalypse or Onslaught. This moment does not involve Professor X, but it does involve Wolverine. In one of those extremely rare cases where Maggie doesn't get along too well with the X-Men, Wolverine decides to take him on. And how does Magneto fight back? By ripping the adamantium right from Wolvie's bones in one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen in comics. Wolverine turned feral after that, and while he did get better soon, it's hard to say that he's let that go. Number 7, The Last Hunt. From the moment Kraven and Spider-Man first fought, they would always find themselves against each other almost all of the time. One of the most deadly adversaries in Spider-Man's rogues gallery, Kraven devoted his life to the thrill of the hunt, so you can understand why Kraven didn't like losing to the Webhead. He truly thought that he was better than Spidey in every way, and it drove him mad when he kept losing. So Kraven sets up a brilliant trap to lure the wall crawler in, and it works perfectly, and Kraven shot Spider-Man to put him down for good. He finally won. But it was all for naught when Kraven killed himself, believing that his hunt was finally over and there was no more challenges for him. Obviously, they both get better and come back later on. I mean, come on, it's Marvel. Number 6, Demon and Bottle. Now, across the universe, every hero has dealt with a wide variety of villains, and good old Tony Stark is no exception to this rule. He has fought madmen that have used variations of his own armor against him, the contortion of his own public image, and the shrapnel that still remains so close to piercing his heart and killing him. So, what one thing could stand out from all that? Why, the magical elixir that is alcohol. No other opponent that Shellhead has faced is more deadly or lethal to him than alcohol, and what I say next might get some negativity, but I liked it when they brought that across in Iron Man 2, subtle as it was. I think I like this moment because it reminds us that Tony is still just a regular human with no real powers, and is prone to his fair share of downfalls time and again, but he never sank lower than when he fell to the bottle. Number 5, Cards to the Chest. The Morlock Massacre is one of the most shocking moments in the history of comic books, and there are many reasons why. I mean, you have Angel getting his freaking wings ripped off, multiple characters dying in the crossfire, and most of all, the Marauders, who were the ones who massacred the Morlocks, seem to have no problem doing what they did. But who started the Marauder group to make the killing? What monster was so deranged to have set something so horrible up? I'll tell you. Everybody's favourite Cajun card-throwing charmer, Gambit. Finding out that he set it up proved that you can never fully run from your past. Now, Gambit has done his time and has been forgiven since then, but the poor guy can't seem to forgive himself still. And really, can you blame him? Number 4, New Wings. In some relation to the previous item on this list, one of the casualties I mentioned was Angel getting his wings ripped off. Now, I'm not talking about shot or cut, I'm talking ripped, as in two of them were just cornered off Featherhead and tore them off from his body. Anywho, Angel seeks the help of Apocalypse, who gives Angel his wings back if he agrees to become the Horseman Death, which he does. Angel gets metallic wings and blue skin, and becomes Archangel. He soon does become a good guy again, but is stuck with his metal wings, which make it harder for people to be around him, not to mention being even more difficult to hide in public. So, when his old feather wings broke through the metal ones, it was just one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. Not only that, but it also gave Angel the ability to use his own version of the healing factor that Wolverine possesses. So that's good. Number 3. Starting the Apocalypse. Another X-Men moment, what a shock. Now, you all know who Apocalypse is. If you don't, then here's a short crash course. The guy is pretty much the first mutant to ever exist, and as such, he is the most powerful of his kind, and is way more dangerous than any of the threats of the X-Men all put together. This particular moment, however, refers to Charles Xavier's future son, the mutant known as Legion, who travels back in time in hopes to kill Magneto before he and Charles ever become enemies. As Legion is about to land the final blow on the Master of Magnetism, Professor X jumps in the way and gets killed instead. This kicks off the Age of Apocalypse storyline, where Magneto becomes the leader of the X-Men out of respect for Charles, and so many other awesome and some horrible things happen as well. Moving on, number 2, Legacy. The last X-Men moment on this list. This one is more about just one mutant, Peter Rasputin, aka Colossus. Now, Colossus has always been viewed as one of the kindest characters in Marvel history, despite his ability to turn himself into organic steel and having superhuman strength, not to mention the fact that he's Russian. But if there's one moment that proved that Colossus' heart was all human, it's arguably when he willingly sacrificed himself to prevent the spread of the Legacy virus, which is a virus that only targeted and killed mutants, and his sister was one of the victims to fall under its influence. To stop it from happening, Peter injected himself with the cure, stopping the virus but also dying in the process. Obviously, he comes back later, as I mentioned, it is Marvel, but that doesn't make his sacrifice in vain. That doesn't make his sacrifice in vain in any way, shape, or form. Number 1. The Death of Love. I know what you're thinking, and you're right, this probably is a predictable choice. I mean, you ask anybody else their most shocking comic book moment, they'll more than likely pick this one. I guess I should just cut to the chase, eh? Well, it starts with Spider-Man. See, around the time of this moment, he was dating Gwen Stacy, who became his first love. Things looked fine between the two until the Green Goblin came to town. Seizing an opportunity, Gobby kidnapped Gwen and lured Spider-Man out to fight him. During the fight, Green Goblin decided to drop poor Gwen from a far height near a bridge. Despite using his webbing to try and save his girlfriend, Spidey lost her anyway, and nobody was able to figure out if it was from the impact on the ground or Spider-Man's web snapping her neck as it reached her and tried to save her. This is easily one of the most shocking and one of the most saddest comic book memories and moments as well, and for this list it takes my number 1 spot. So there you have it, guys. That's my top 10 Marvel moments. I'm obviously sticking, it was just comic books, but you get what I mean. Love you all. Shout out to everybody who reads and watches my stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.